So today I'm walking around in the Pacific Northwest and I'm on the hunt for a plant to forage that most of you will probably be pretty familiar with, and that's the dandelion. Now I know a lot of people despise the dandelion, but it's actually a really great treat if you want to get into foraging, and it's relatively easy to find. So a great place to look for dandelions if you're out in the middle of nowhere are these old forest roads that you can just walk along. Go on the ones that are otherwise decommissioned so that they're not heavily being used by both vehicle traffic and foot traffic. You can find some pretty remote spots and you'll be able to get dandelions as well as a lot of other greens in these types of areas, because a lot of these plants just happen to like to grow in disturbed spots, and these forest roads are certainly disturbed spots. Funny thing is, you know, a lot of people hate them and see them as a pest in their yard. So next time someone says that, you can remind them that their yard must be a disturbed area. All right, so here we have some dandelion. I'll move this out of the way and you can see this is a dandelion. Now again, I assume most of you are probably used to this plant, but finding it in the wild can be a little different. You do want to recognize these leaves. They're kind of toothed leaves. Just make sure that it's not the leaf of some other plant. Sometimes if you don't see the traditional sprout with the yellow flower, you might not recognize it. So there you go. These are the leaves of the dandelion, and that's what I'm after today. You can make dandelion wine. You can use the flowers for wines and teas and honeys and jellies. But the green leaves are just so easy to just pluck and eat. This is going to be a lot like a spinach, kale type of green. It is highly nutritious. Dandelion leaves are full of vitamins and minerals. So you're getting all kinds of vitamins, A, some B vitamins, C vitamin, and you're getting minerals from like calcium and magnesium and iron. So really nutritious, and nice again, we get our greens for free, right? I mean, last time I looked, spinach was going up at the grocery store. So here are a bunch of dandelions that we can choose from. We'll just look for the best looking ones. They usually grow in nice patches like this, so you can usually find a lot to pick from, and then pick the leaves you want from different plants. So that's really nice. So some tips on picking dandelion leaves. First off, the biggest tip here is, well, where you pick is really important. Okay, let me put this. Here's some things to think about. One, I wouldn't go picking dandelions out of people's yards, even though there's probably lots of them there, and they might even appreciate you doing so. You have to be careful in town. You'll find a lot of dandelions in people's yards and at parks, but it's very highly likely that those dandelions are sprayed. So you need to be careful with avoiding anything that's sprayed, okay? So going out to the forest like this is at least a better shot for me. And I am in an area where not a lot of people are traveling through, so in fact this whole path is decommissioned, and if I go down the hills and find some patches there, it's even better. Now I will provide a word of caution there that even though you might be in the middle of the forest, they actually do spray in the forests. They spray to reduce competition for other plants, trees that they're trying to grow there, and as well as to handle invasive species. So you still have to be careful even in the remote forest, so keep that in mind, but do your best and keep those things in mind, and you should be okay to find some good patches that won't give you any trouble there. But that's the first big thing, is you need to know where to pick. Second is where to find them. Well, they actually grow in many different areas. I mean, you should have no problem finding dandelions on the forest floor. And then selecting dandelions. So one thing you want to shoot for are the new, younger leaves. They'll be a bit more pliable and easy to pluck, and that will reduce some of the bitterness. Now, dandelion leaves, like I said, are kind of like spinach, kale. They are known for being a slightly bitter leaf,
So if you're not used to them, you may find them to be a little bitter, but it's on the end of maybe like a kale. I don't think it's quite as bitter as kale, but many people do. So again, a bitter leaf that then what you can do is you can prepare it to reduce the bitterness. So you can cook it, and you can actually boil it and perhaps replace the water multiple times, and that will reduce the bitterness. You could fry it, stir fry it. I like stir frying it and putting some onions or garlic and oil in with it, and that'll make it good. You can cut it up small, put it in a soup. Again, anything that you can do with greens, but go for these younger new shoots, and that will also make it a bit less bitter. Another thing you can do is find a patch of dandelions that's either in the shade or in a moist area, and that often can help with bitterness as well. All right, and I'll just take my dandelions back to camp, and I've got free fresh greens for dinner.
Now the cool thing is dandelions also grow where a lot of other good greens grow that I'll talk about here at Waggleby. We'll be doing plantain and miner's lettuce and stuff like that. So you can usually mix the dandelions in with some of the other greens. That's also another way to deal with, say, bitterness if you don't like real bitter greens.